Good afternoon. This video will provide information for any parents who are interested in knowing more about the convention event for junior beta. I know that most of the fifth graders participated last year. We have a few new members, but all of our fourth graders are new to this experience, and so I just wanted to go over some of the details so that you could make the best decision for your child and your family as to who would like to participate. First off, my name is Brandy Metz, and I am the Junior Beta Advisor alongside several other staff members at Patterson Elementary. I have been taking students on field trips for many years, and while this is an overnight field trip, I just want you to know that I do have experience in that way, and we have taken students from Patterson Elementary on this overnight field trip now for several years. I can't even count back how many. So I will guarantee you that we will stay safe. I encourage as many parents who want to participate, but I understand too that depending on your work schedule, if you have to send your child without you, that we have numerous adults that will be hands-on taking care of them throughout this event. First, you need to know what is the convention. This is a yearly event. It happens in each state at a scheduled time determined by the national office. Our state, Georgia convention is typically at the end of November, 1st of December each year. And that has not changed for as long as I can remember. Our event takes place in Savannah at the convention center, but it is just a place where all of the members in the entire state of Georgia who wish to participate, either with their school, with homeschool, or independent members, can come together and compete in a variety of competitions. Some of those are listed here, and I'll show you at the end. Every single one of the different competitions was in the link I forwarded to the parent remind. But this just gives students a chance to compete together, either as a chapter, as a team, or as an individual. To be part of the Beta Club, you are not required to attend convention. You are certainly still a member once you are registered with the national office, and you do not have to attend, but you can still participate locally with our chapter, either through chapter event preparations or in-school service projects, but you do not have to attend the Beta Convention. Part of convention requires some extra work. It requires you to have ideas and give effort during our after-school team times, our chapter practices, and then at home if you're preparing for an independent event or an individual event. Most of the students typically choose to do at least 2 events depending on how they are scheduled. You want to look at that detailed schedule I sent home that says what time and place that those events are through the course of the day, and you wouldn't want to be double booked to be in 2 places at one time. As I mentioned, there are individual events where you do it by yourself. You may take a test individually. You may prepare an art project individually. Or there are certain events that are the combination of a team collaboration, where you have 3 to 5 members on the team, and sometimes you prepare it ahead of time, or you take it with you and you do it on site with your team. And then there are a few projects that are chapter, which means all members of the chapter can collaborate and put input and work onto those projects. Some of the events require you to stand and present to the judges, while some of them only require you to set up your project on a table and then leave it there for judging. So you would want to look at the details of each event to know. Some of the events like Songfest and Group Talent and Solo Duo Trio, they are performed on the main stage of the Convention Center in front of the entire audience. There is first round and final round in those categories. And if we enter those, of course, all chapter members are encouraged to participate. Adults play a role in preparation of the events, but you are not allowed to be part of the presentation. The majority of the creation of the project should be your students' work, and the same for art projects. They would have to do that at home and bring it in. And this year they added size limitations, and those are in the handbook, and we'll take a look at that. So if you're planning to have your student do any of the visual art categories, and there's quite a few to choose from, then you would want to pay special attention to those dimensions and limitations in the handbook, because you will not be judged if you are not at the appropriate or within the guidelines. At convention, it is a long day. There's just a lot of sitting, hanging out. Students are all over the convention center, inside, outside, in different rooms, doing their events, lining up for their events, waiting to see if they're having to go for a final event. So it's very free-flowing. And your student needs to be aware of that environment and also be able to self-manage in that environment. If you are there alongside them, you can be wherever they are. We'll have a central location in the grand room of the convention where we keep all of our stuff and kind of have it as our home base. But throughout the day, you're just kind of moving around and doing your own thing. Things that we know already are the dates. The event schedule that I sent home itemized everything that happens on December 4th and the 5th. Those are the 2 dates for elementary students. That entire week in Savannah, it starts with senior high convention, then elementary, then middle school convention. It all flows together back to back, and we take up a whole week in Savannah. But the elementary dates are 4th and 5th of December. Now, last year we traveled up the night before the first day. So we will have to decide as a group if we prefer to go the afternoon after school of the 3rd, or if we're going to wait until the morning of the 4th. We ran into a few transportation issues when we wait until the morning of the 4th, because we have to wait, because it's during the school day, we have to wait for the school buses to run their normal route before they can pick us up from the school and then transport the group on the bus to the Savannah area. Then there's morning traffic. That's all the different things that we run into, and we want to be there on time for that 10:30 start, because some of the events, they start check-in at 10:30, 11 o'clock. Which doesn't seem like it will be an issue if you're leaving at 8 o'clock, but we've had times where the bus route did not finish on time, and then the bus driver had to go by the bus barn, gas up, all of that, pick us up, and we were really down to the wire. It's very hectic around the convention center for unloading, and so you have to line up, and then you have to wait, and I don't want any students to be in a bind or feel rushed. So that's why last year we opted to go the night before, just to be able to rest, but it did add an additional night to our cost at the hotel. So that's something we can talk about as a parent group. We're there all day on the 4th with awards and the final performances on the 5th, and typically it ends by lunchtime because the next grouping will be coming in to start their convention. Everything takes place in the Savannah Convention Center. This is in the downtown Savannah, near River Street. You have availability from the hotels via the river ferry transportation. But if you do not stay in that downtown historic district area, then you can drive over and park at the convention center every day. The hotel options, I suggest staying downtown, but parents will be able to choose and book their room from the link that I provide. That gives you the beta discount. The rooms, closest to the convention center are around $150, $160 and up dollars a night. If you prefer to stay a little farther out in Savannah or over towards Pooler or anything like that and drive over, you can get a less cost on your hotel stay. But there are beta discounts all over the Savannah area for those hotels. What people did last year was they talked with other parents. They coordinated to stay together. So if there's like 2 moms and 2 daughters and they want to stay in the room together and split the cost. Or some people took extra family members, so they wanted a room to themselves. You'll be able to book that however you need to. If your student is going to travel without an adult, then I will take care of booking them in a room with other students who don't have an adult. Or there were some parents last year who just didn't pair up with others, and they said, I don't mind if a couple kids need to stay in the room with me and my child. And so we kind of work together that way. We have a very large group, so we're just going to have to see how many get registered, and then you guys are going to have to explore those hotel options and decide what works for you. Let me go back to that real quick because I wanted to say if you are traveling there to spend the night, then your child needs to stay in the room with you. We have learned by epic failure in the past that we tried to book students together with students, and then parents stayed with other parents. But inevitably through the night, what happened was students didn't want to stay in the room without their parent. And so then we ended up with an issue. So that's why going from that year that happened, we just, if you're attending and your child is going, they are staying in the room with you. No other way. Only if you're not attending will your student be booked in a room with other students. You will need to submit $100 per student to the school to cover the cost of convention registration, the chapter t-shirt that we will wear at convention, the trading pins that we will receive. We will get the state pin that they offer. Kids love to trade the pins. That's the thing at convention your student will find very fun. You get to trade with other chapters that make a pin, and our kids really got into that last year. So we take extra pins so that we can trade. We have a pin to keep for ourselves, and then you'll be able to get pins from others. Also, then that money that you turn in helps us get any supplies we need for our chapter events, including props for events like the talent and the living literature, crafts and things that we have to do to complete our events. So all of that goes towards that. Then I didn't mean for that to have that about food trucks on there. Ignore that. Additional costs that you would need would be your hotel. If your student is staying, without you, then I'll let you know what the hotel cost is. You will have to purchase food while we're there. Most hotels include breakfast, but your lunch and dinner, and then any souvenirs you'd like to have. Between now and convention, it's important for your beta to keep their grades in check, make sure they're attending school and limiting their tardies. They should have good behavior. I haven't had to talk with any beta students so far for misbehaving in the classroom, but if that was to happen between now and the trip, then they would be removed from the trip roster. So now what you would want to do is talk with your student about whether they're comfortable going on this trip with you or without you. Be on the lookout for more information and bring back your registration commitment form to me, and then I will provide you with a hotel link so that you can plan for that however you're planning to stay. If you're going to work on individual art projects, you need to start now. You do not need to wait until Thanksgiving. We will have a deadline to turn those art projects in. And then also we're going to start having some after school times to work together in our teams so that we can get our entries finalized between now and Thanksgiving. So that information will be sent out also. Hopefully you won't have too many after school conflicts, that you can participate with those teams that your child is interested in. We'll be working on 2D, 3D marketing teams starting right away. We will wait and practice our talent and our song in November. Just know if your student is staying after school, they're there for the practice and the work time. If a student has trouble behaving after school, or if they're horse playing too much and not helping with the workload, then they will not be allowed to stay with the group to participate in that work time. It's very serious that we get that work done. You can also bring snacks if you need to for after school. Now we're going to take a look